Here.
Sandy Faust.
Here.
Joe Mullenix.
Present.
Dave Moon.
Here.
Jonathan Moon.
Here.
Patricia Russell.
Here.
Dennis C.
Here.
Okay, we'll have the reading and approving previous month's minutes.
Make a motion, we dispense with the reading.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Old business, there is none. New business, vacating the north-south alley located between 312 West 6th and 314 West 6th. And I believe that is requested by a Mr. Wayne Brumbaugh. Is he here?
I don't believe he is.
No?
No.
Okay. Has everybody been down there and looked at it? And
Yeah.
is there any discussion?
Looks like it's already been
Pretty
vacated.
straightforward.
To me.
It doesn't seem to be a problem.
No, it looks like it's already been vacated. Looks like it's already vacated.
Well, evidently, he's got neighbors that use that as their private parking lot, and he would like it vacated, so they've only got half of it, and they can't do that.
Oh, I see.
And sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah.
Okay,
Make a motion, we approve.
I second that motion.
Okay.
Haley?
Rick Day.
Yeah. Yes. Whatever.
Joe Mullenix.
Yes.
Dave Moon.
Yes.
Jonathan Moon.
Yes.
Patricia Russell.
Yes.
Dennis C.
Yes.
Sandy Faust.
Yes. Okay. The amendment of ordinance 151-071 mailboxes has, the request has been withdrawn, so we don't have anything to do with that. Now we have the amendment of ordinance 151.066, residential district rummage sales. Okay. Haley, do you have any comments on it?
I believe, were you guys wanting to come up and speak in front of the board?
Sure. So they've got objections to this? Is
They
that
have
what it is?
objections, yes.
Good evening. My name's Jason Hahn. My wife Debbie's here with me. I guess the reason we're coming forth is we have some properties in Peru, but one of them in particular is at 400 North Broadway, across from the high school. We have a private parking lot behind there, and we continue to run into problems with a neighbor who has garage sales, and the people then park in our parking lot, even though they have a drive on the other side of their house that they block off. Also, the ordinance that's in place today is as modified recently, is not very good. It doesn't call for any registration, and therefore, how can you track if someone actually had one?
Let me interrupt you for one second. Have
Sure.
you read what we just rewrote last week?
No, I don't know where that would
Okay,
be.
you might want to read that before.
Okay, you have a proposal?
That way we won't be going over the
What
same
we'll be
things that are
voting on
already changed.
Yeah, okay.
The changes are all in red. This is a different one that was on the board before. This is an older ordinance, and then we put some actual changes into it that are in red. So it's changes to an older ordinance, not the one that we're under right now.
I looked at the red stuff, and the first comment seems appropriate. I think 7 days is too long, to be honest with you, because honestly, we have to sit next to or in our parking lot and try to keep the folks from parking in there so that businesses that reside in our building have a place to park. And we have a chiropractor, a lawyer, and a psychologist in there. And 7 days, we have to actually sit there to keep them from parking there and throwing trash out and things. So I would think it would be more appropriate to be shorter, such as 3 days, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Also, the chamber having sales that don't apply to the limit pretty much makes the limit not applicable. So instead of 2, you could have 5, 6, 8, 10 a year if they sponsored them. So I guess our request would be that you'd modify that further to say that any sale counts against the limit of 2 per year, regardless of who it's sponsored by, as well as try to limit it to less than 7 days. It's just really difficult. We've run into some difficulties with the neighbor that have included actually a confrontation where the police had to be called, where they pushed us, told us they can use it anytime they want because it's not full all the time, but that's not accurate. It's our parking lot that we pay taxes on. If there's no cars in it, it doesn't matter. You know, it's there to be available to our lessees when it's their time to use it. So I appreciate what you have there. I think the idea that 2 a year, that's a good point, but I don't think there should be allowed other entities to promote garage sales that don't count against that 2 a year. And 7 days is a long time. And the only other point I guess I would make is also what happens when your first garage sale's over. You just leave your stuff in your yard all summer long. And that happens, not just at our place, but if most of you drive down, I guess what it would be, West Main, you see some of those that pretty much leave their stuff out the entire summer, and that just doesn't look good in the community. You should have to put it away.
That part's actually beyond our scope. That is code enforcement
Yeah.
at that point. When the yard sales are not in, when they're not under their permits for the yard sale, then the stuff would not be allowed to be left out.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's a code for that or an ordinance that addresses that directly. I don't know. But it does look kind of nasty to have that stuff sitting out all summer long, and code enforcement, I guess, would be the appropriate entity to deal with that if there's an ordinance that they can enforce. But nonetheless, I would request that you look at that ordinance modification that you've made and limit it to fewer days and not exempt the Chamber of Commerce or others from counting against that, because they were going to have 5 or 7 of them, one a month during the summer originally, and they've suspended that. But you add that to 2, and then suddenly you've got however many that they want to promote plus 2, and however many days that they want to allow it to be, which I think was Friday, Saturday, or something like that.
Now, you had mentioned at the city council meeting and before the city council meeting, this was a perpetual yard sale going on next year.
In the past, it pretty much has been. It's been off and on all the summer. This summer, it hasn't been because...
Yeah, because I've been driving by there on a very regular basis, and I have not seen a single
Now,
yard
the
sale.
one they did have this summer was we sat up there and had to sit and tell people not to park there and get, foul language and other comments hurled at us. And that's when they came across onto our property and pushed us. But the point being is they're not doing it right now, but there needs to be a good way to enforce it going forward that, if you're not registered and someone comes up from code enforcement, then they can say, hey, you can't continue to have this, and fine them if necessary. And then also, how would you know how many they've had if they didn't have to register, which is addressed there.
This does have that in there, so.
And excuse me, but this individual has met her quota for the year now for garage sales, and I had reported that.
We hadn't,
Douglas, I sent pictures and documented that she's had her 2 sales already. And the issue with the perpetual sale, that went on in previous years. So I started addressing it last summer and having code enforcement come, supposedly they find her at one point. So I think now this individual knows that I have reported her. She just keeps the stuff out there and leaves it there and has a sale a few days on a weekend when she feels like it. And she's also under the impression that since the chamber was sponsoring those sales, that she can have her 2, and then she can have one every time the chamber sponsors one, because that's what she informed me of.
Yeah, and
That's true.
that would be problematic the way it's written, because there shouldn't be someone having 6, 7 garage sales a year. There's many venues to sell things. There's Craigslist, there's Facebook, there's 20 other things that you can list your stuff on and sell. So if there's a concern that people need to do it, they can do it in other venues. But I can't sit up there all the time and worry about whether or not they're keeping my parking lot full. And sometimes it's 1 or 2 cars, sometimes it's 5, 6, 7 cars. And they put up signs that say park in the alley, but people are creatures of habit, whatever's closest, so they park in the lot and walk across.
Well, there's no good parking in the alley anyways.
Well, she even advertised that on the chamber Facebook page when that was sponsored. She advertised on there in writing. She tacked on an extra day to the sale, which I was advised that it was only a Friday and Saturday event. Well, she tacked on a Thursday, And she advertised that, and she also put in writing, park in alley.
And put signs up on Peru Utilities poles with the same park
That
in the
hang
alley.
over our property.
But people don't read that. They just pull in the lot, park there, and jump out and walk over, you know.
Or if they do park in the alley, then they're blocking the exit for our patrons when they leave the building, which is the natural progression where the cars are angled to then exit through the alley. Well, then if she has her garage sale patrons there, they can't get out of the alley. They have to back up.
And then go out onto Broadway. But
Do you have signs up that say private parking?
yes, yeah, we have signs up. We got them from the street department and posted them. But, you know, that's another thing. It's, you know, I shouldn't have to sit up there and then call someone to tow them, and then they run right over, get in their car and speed out of there the minute the tow truck shows up. And it's just not a good situation. And we have called to have a few cars towed that maybe were or weren't associated with this, and sometimes the people run out and get them before the tow truck. One time the police showed up and let them take their car, which I didn't appreciate, but nonetheless, I think having, you know, the chamber exempted, that's the one thing I object to in what you've written there. I think 2 a year is plenty.
Okay, we will take your comments under advisement.
Okay, what's the next steps? How long does it take you to advise is it city council that eventually?
It'll be at the next city council meeting.
Monday. Yeah.
And you mentioned that being kind of available to look at. Was it posted somewhere or?
This?
Yeah,
We haven't, it's not official yet.
okay. So if you.
Until it goes to city council, it's not official. This is our recommendation to city council.
So if you're going to recommend something, hopefully that varies from that, will it be available to look at before the next city council meeting?
Not
Or I can
before.
go
Unless you,
No.
no.
Unless we figure out what we're gonna do today, and then I can have something ready by the end of the week, but. or
I can come to the
by
meeting,
tomorrow.
that's
It would
fine.
have to be tomorrow, because I have to submit it to the clerk treasurer tomorrow to be on the city council agenda for next week.
You have to
so.
realize that we're an advisory board.
Right.
We will send this to city council, and that's as far as our participation in this goes.
Sure, and I'll be glad to, we'll attend that meeting and discuss it with them as necessary, but hopefully you understand our situation. I mean, we've got 4 or 5 properties improved, pay a lot of property taxes, try to keep them all up and looking good, but it's a real inconvenience for us and our tenants.
And so, I mean, really, we don't have any other recourse with these people other than to monitor what's going on with the sales and report it. Which is what, I think Douglas too, she's the one that told me to contact her. So we really have no other recourse other than to sit on our lot and tell people to leave and to report it. I mean, it's a
Well,
difficult
honestly,
situation.
regardless of what we do, you're probably going to have that anytime she's got to sell, whether it's,
But if you can have 7 sales a year or 2, at
Right.
least it limits that.
That's
And-
true.
And if it's reported, as you've got it written there, that they have to get a permit, then at least you can look up and say, okay, you've had 1 or you've had 2 and you're done, and why are you having a 3rd one?
Right.
Then you have some traceability.
The permit has to be openly displayed on the art sale, so that if there is the art sale, the officer, whoever can drive by and see the date on it and see that it's okay or it's not okay. And that's the whole thing with this, because if we didn't do something like this, there's really no ordinance in the book that says they can't continue to have them now. So we got to get this set up first, and then we can move into it and make things stick.
And in reference to not allowing your garage sale material to set out between sales, I mean, will there be maybe anything changed in regards to that?
That is something that we
we'll
wouldn't
discuss.
have.
I don't know.
I mean, all they'd have to say was, this is the stuff that I've got on my back patio, instead of, this was my yard sale stuff or something like that. I mean, you drive around several houses here, and they've got all kinds of stuff stuffed up in their front and all that. And unless somebody makes a complaint or they find that it's, not in compliance, then there's nothing first off, there's nothing this board can do about that anyways.
Right.
Because, people are going to tell you what they want to tell you. And so if you've got stuff in your yard, they're just going to say, Well, that's been out there for a while now. If it's obviously, sometimes, but like the lady you're talking about, it's on her back patio. And so she'll just say, that's just my stuff and I've just got it sitting out there on my property. Where are you going to go with that, But again, this is really above us because we're not code compliance. I wish we could be more helpful along those kind of lines, but we're just an advisory board and this is what we handle.
Good, thanks. We'll look forward to seeing what you propose.
Thanks, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you.
Jason, Haley reports to the planning commission. She does not set policy, and she is basically just there to communicate with us and do a lot of the legwork. She's the messenger. So to be agitated with her in any way, it would be out of line because there's nothing she can do.
I guess my only agitation would be is if there's going to be a good ordinance, that it would be enforced. Whoever code compliance is, then let's make sure. Sometimes once you give someone kind of a quick slap, they'll stop and it'll be okay.
Mhm.
But if we have an ordinance that isn't enforced, then it won't do much good.
Yeah.
They can't enforce it.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion on the way this has been rewritten? I honestly agree that 7 days is too long. I think a yard sale should be Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Well, let's write it down to 3 days then.
I could say, just research this, take a look, see what's coming up, I guess.
What?
I said, just kind of research this and try again, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, we could make this, if we're just going to change the amount of days, we can do that right here because we haven't approved this yet.
Yeah.
So if we
Should
think, if the board
go
here
ahead.
thinks that we should go down to 3 days, then we can absolutely do that right now. Because this is still just a proposal that we're working.
Should we talk about maybe putting stuff away?
We have no control over that.
No?
No.
No.
We can,
3 days is not a bad thing over the weekends.
Yeah.
But, sometimes
and
people.
possibly, like the people who work in your building, if it's Saturday and Sunday and they don't work, it wouldn't be quite the problem.
But there are people who
Throughout.
work on Saturday and Sundays.
There are, yes. But
And do it on the weekday instead, just make it 3 days, not only Saturday and Sunday.
I think Friday, Saturday.
Not make it Friday, Saturday, but 3 days a
Let
week.
them choose 3 days of the week.
3 days a week.
Yeah.
And not make it a specific days.
Yeah.
Because-
Also, I know I've had at least 3 or 4 complaints about not having the chamber be doing their community garage sales this year. And I've also spoke with Sandy, and she's had numerous complaints of, why aren't you doing this? And just yesterday, I had somebody call in asking about this. And he said that he knows numerous people that they're down on their luck, they're trying to sell stuff, they've been trying to do it. I understand 7 days is probably too long, but would 4 days be too much? I mean, some people do it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I mean,
But if we give them 4 days, they get to pick.
Right.
Give them 3 days, they can pick
that's true.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They can pick Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Right.
My first thought was like you though, was 4 days. But why are they upset that the chamber's not doing it? Is it because they don't want to pay the $5 for the fee that we currently have?
But there's not going to be a.
Or,
There won't.
no, I understand
Yeah.
that.
And technically, we don't have a fee. We don't even have a permit right now. Somewhere in your packet, I think it's right after this, it was
Yeah,
the
but
one
they
that
did
was,
away with the fee.
maybe
Okay,
it was
yeah.
There is no
the
fee
next
right
one.
I remember the meeting that was done with.
Yeah, the fee was done away
So-
with,
That's the one
so,
we're
but it just never got
I know, but-
updated on
Yeah, I-
Angle.
Last year, when Gabe went out, just before he did, he eliminated the cost.
Right.
Okay. I don't care. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just
I know
reading what this
it's
says.
there, but it's there on, right before he left, he eliminated the cost of the fee
Okay.
Okay.
and eliminated the
What-
permit.
And I was in a lot of meetings
Yeah, that's
back
the
then.
problem.
Yeah.
But
Well, they got to bring that back.
the,
Bring back the permit, but no cost.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I honestly think we should maybe can't we do the permit over line like I was suggested?
We don't have any way to do it on the city website unless you
can't?
pay extra.
Okay.
And they
And it
charge a lot
Lot,
to do
okay.
stuff like that. So I actually have been working on a permit application. So I'm in the process of getting that done. It'll be like, just like all my other applications for like variances and stuff. And then
Yeah, we can put-
I can print out a zoning permit.
Could you call in to get it started, or?
Oh, yeah, you can call in. I would rather the permit actually be filled out. That's
Yeah.
just my personal
You
opinion.
could put a
of doing
link
it.
to the permit on the
Right.
website. And they can download it, fill it out.
Right.
And either mail it or scan it back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Could we do that?
Yeah, we
I
can.
mean, get it
we can
started.
put links on there. I just don't have an actual registration thing that I can put on the
Yeah,
website.
the company that's doing the city website is one of those, that
And
they
then come
make
back in and
lots of
pick it up.
money doing it, and, yeah.
And
If they could get it
also-
started by doing, like downloading the application, bring it in, have the application already filled out, so all they have to do is.
Right, yeah, and then I can print out a permit to give to them to display. And I've also talked to Sandy about, she's going to send me a registration list of everybody, so that way we'll know exactly who has done it with the Chamber of Commerce.
And this is all really good discussion and all that, but this is above the purview of this board.
Okay.
We're here to put an ordinance in, how the city decides that they can.
I know, I'm just trying to
get-
help.
Well, we.
Yeah.
but,
I know,
yeah.
I know.
Anyway, so,
I know. Yeah, but 4 days,
Is it within our purview to limit the number of chamber cells they can participate in?
She's willing to work with us anyway.
yes.
So, I mean, we can try and limit it. I would just have to speak with her about it. But I know she's more than willing to work with us to try and make everybody happy.
But my thing is, if we don't put it in the ordinance, even if she's willing to work with us, if we don't put something in the ordinance, people like their neighbors, it's going to walk right through.
right.
Right.
And when
So-
she's not in office, it's, yeah.
So we can change it to 4 days instead of 7?
Did we want 3 or 4? Just to clarify.
With the number of yard sales that, if we do run with that, okay, I'll make 2 suggestions. One, let's limit it to 3 days,
I agree.
and the chamber yard sales every other month,
Every other month?
every other month.
Okay.
That will cut down on a majority of it. Now, the chamber yard sales are very popular in this town. It draws a lot of people into the town who also do shopping here and so on and so forth. And they're advertised as this is when the counties, or the chamber's yard sales are. So they are very, very popular with people, and they have been asking for them back.
Okay?
A bunch of people have been asking. I tried to get the word out, it didn't. So, is that acceptable to everybody?
Sounds good to me, too.
Okay, got that, Haley?
Every other month?
Yeah.
Okay.
There would only be about 6 months time period to even have a, I mean,
Right.
Yes.
yeah,
Maybe.
maybe, yeah, rain, whatever. So, okay.
So,
So it would actually be 3, possibly, if it's every other month, right?
Around
Be
3.
around 3.
Maybe if the weather's going good, 4, but that would
Okay.
be the end of it.
Yeah, 3.
Okay?
That sounds good. Any more discussion?
May I?
yes.
Don't frown at me. You guys were talking about downloading, uploading, scanning, and all this kind of stuff. You guys are all
Well,
tech. Now-
they can
now-
still walk in here and do it.
Huh?
They can still walk in here and do it.
But what I'm saying is, that's all well and good, and if you've got someone that has a transportation problem of some sort, or maybe has none, I think you need to work somewhere or another that it would be somewhat more convenient for them. If you're going to send me something and tell me to download it and then put my signature on it and scan it back to you, look for the carrier pigeon, because that's my technology.
But they still got
right
the
there.
opportunity to come in here. and do
Yeah,
this.
you can still just come in and
Or,
talk.
yeah, or you
And that would be one less yard sale we'd be having in town, so.
do what?
one less yard sale we'd be having in town, so. That's kind
Or
of win-win.
a return
They-
address.
If they want to do a yard sale, they need to make a little bit of an effort. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's something
So-
that we can work out later. That's not
Yeah,
part of this.
again,
right
that's
here.
not.
There's
part of this
also the mail. You
Again,
can,
that's not part of this
you can
ordinance.
also,
so-
I know, but there's
Not even
also
on
the
the
mail,
Yes.
Right.
yeah.
How
Okay.
many?
You've got the mailman.
It's about the same length of time now.
Yeah, we've got the mailman. We got the
Okay.
mailman. He works too. So,
I make a motion that we change the wording on the ordinance to read, I've got to get my glasses on, not to exceed more than 3 days per sale. Those sales registered with the Miami County Chamber of Commerce community sales during the months of May through September on the second full weekend, Friday and Saturday only, will not be considered personal sales. And since that does not state that the chamber has a sale every month, it doesn't mention every month, every other month, we really don't need to put any, I
But
don't
it-
see that we
I
need
think
to change that.
We need to put it in there, because if they start doing one every month,
That's right.
we need to cover our bases.
Okay.
You give an inch, they'll take them on. No.
During the months, let's see, every other month.
And then if there's no cost involved, we could just scratch out cost of permit, $5, and must be, that portion of it, just say the permit shall be openly displayed on the site of the sale. That's in the yellow here.
Yeah, this is the one we're supposed to.
Yeah,
look
this
at.
is
Yeah,
the one.
that's the
It's
old.
in your
Delete
packet.
the
the red part is right here where we need
It's
it.
in your packet. It should be in front of that.
Okay.
The red part.
It's in the red.
Null and void, really.
Well, let me look at this.
Got me all
The
confused.
red part.
It's the one with the red writing on the page.
Permit at no cost.
Okay.
That's the one there.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are we going to do
Okay.
on the chamber?
Every other. month.
Every other
That's-
month.
Okay, that's it.
During the months, every other month during the months of May through September.
Should we just name the months, May, July, and September? And
Well,
then-
if May is really crappy, maybe the first one would be June,
June.
so then you'd have June, August, October.
Okay.
August and October?
And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's not our problem.
Yeah.
No.
The months of June,
Yeah,
Yeah,
August,
we
and
can't do
October?
everything, so
Every other
just
month.
leave it like it is,
Fair enough.
May through September.
What are you going to do?
We just actually named the month, so. August,
Sales during the months of
May,
June, August,
July, and
and October?
May, July, and September. I like that.
May, July, and September.
May, July, and September?
Yeah.
May, July, September, is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
May is really crappy, you know, right?
That's not our problem. Because you can never tell. Last month, this year, May was really nice.
Yeah.
It was not, it was rainy all the time.
Not as bad as this month's been. But that's really neither here nor there.
Yeah.
So,
We're giving
May,
them
July,
an
and
option,
September.
they can choose to use.
May, July, September, and that's the,
May, July, and September,
yes.
I second her motion.
and September.
Okay, so the motion now is, number 4 would read, personal sales shall be limited to 2 per calendar year, which do not exceed more than 3 days per sale. Those sales registered with the Miami County Chamber of Commerce community sales during the months of May, July, and September on the second full weekend, Friday and Saturday only, will not be considered personal sales. That would be the change, correct?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
That's what I
So
had.
I made the motion and have a
We actually
second.
don't need to make a motion on that because we're just
Cool.
discussing it. We're just,
We're not going to, we have to adopt it, right?
before we make the motion, yeah. So we're just discussing, we don't need to make a motion right now.
I made the motion.
We already made a motion.
I second the motion.
He already did.
Yeah, let's- You- you know you do. All right, so this is what we want to go forward now?
Sounds good.
That's
Yep.
fine.
Yeah, just the way I just read it.
Roll call.
Okay, yes. Roll call, please.
All right.
Rick Day,
Yes.
Joe Mullenix,
Yes.
Dave Moon,
Yes.
Jonathan Moon,
Yes.
Patricia Russell,
Yes.
Dennis See,
Yes.
Sandy Faust.
Yes. Okay.
And hopefully it
That's the
works.
thing on the end.
Are there any public comments about anything?
It's different.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I make the motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Out.